Our Sunday study of the book of Hebrews continues today in chapter 11. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, his only begotten son, accounting that God was able to raise him up even from the dead. Abraham had passed through many trials in a long life, but at the close of his life came the great trial. Now you would think that if a man has served God and his fellow men long and served them well, that he should be able to take a well-deserved rest from the struggles of life, entitled to lean back and enjoy the fruit of his labors, and to let the setting sun go down upon a content and well-nourished life. But no, at the end comes the great crisis to Abraham. The incident to which our text here refers is written back in the book of Genesis. And a bolt of lightning out of a clear blue sky could not have shocked Abraham more. Even the casual reader is taken aback when you come to the words, "And it came to pass that God did tempt Abraham and said, Abraham, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains that I shall show to thee." That command did not come from Satan, which would figure, nor from the nearby Canaanite nations who practice human sacrifice. It was not the product of a deranged mind like some of the cult leaders of our day, the David Koreshes and the like. This command came from God. He did not consult with Abraham first, did not tell him the reasons for it, did not give him half a dozen different motives why he should do it. And I don't have to tell you that this Bible story raises many questions and moral problems. Better preachers than I have worn themselves out trying to make this story acceptable and reasonable to modern minds. But I think the thing that really bugs us is that God demands the very thing we say he should not demand. That he cuts across our well-formed plans for the future. And that he demands from us what we don't have any intention at all of giving up. We don't want to let God be God and accept that he means what he says and says what he means. Abraham did not know that this was a test. Otherwise, he would not have been tested. But that is the nature of all of our trials. When we are in them, we cannot see the outcome. But God isn't going to play second fiddle while you conduct the orchestra of your life. He will not come timidly tapping at the window or enter in all those doors you open for him. He's going to come crashing through the wall in the strongest place, demanding exactly what you have posted your off-limit signs on, and insisting that he will be your God there or he isn't going to be your God at all. Yeah, I know we got the right words. We say it in the old hymn. Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to thee. Take Take my silver and my gold, not a mite would I withhold. Take my will and make it thine, it shall be no longer mine. Great words! But what happens if God really does it? If he takes away your life, or that of a loved one whom you love more than your own life, or pulls the rug out from under you, and you find yourself out on the street without a job or a dime to call your own. Yeah, what then? Do you say that God is not a God of love? There is no God at all. We can imagine what ran through Abraham's mind. How can God's command go against God's promise? How can he demand the son that he has so plainly promised? It went against Abram's natural feelings as a father and against every fiber of his conscience. And yet, we hear not one word about the inner turmoil of his mind. These soap opera theatrics that we are so used to when calamity comes. Did Abraham seek professional counseling? Did he form a committee to study the matter? What did he tell his wife? Did he tell her anything at all? To Abraham, the word of God was not something you debate, it's something you obey. But all real faith is like that. That's what the text means when it says, by faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, his only begotten son. We can perhaps see a clue in the words, take now thy son, thine only son, Isaac, Isaac whom you love, and can feel how much that man must have set his heart upon that boy. Isaac was a long promised son, long looked for and long awaited and fervently welcomed into Abram's life. It wasn't just that Isaac was Abram's only son, the son of his old age, and a good son, of the same mind and spirit as his father. Abraham's hope of salvation was tied up in that son of his. For God had promised that the Son of God would one day come from Isaac's line, the Messiah in whom all nations of the earth are blessed, Abraham included. And had Abram's love for the boy imperceptibly and so gradually started to crowd the love of God out of Abram's heart. We know how that happens. Most of the time we can turn our back upon the gross evils of this world. It's the good things, the God-given things that get between us and God. The love of family, of country, of job, our harmless pleasures and enjoyable pastimes. We don't mean it to happen, but it happens. The text tells us with an almost shocking bluntness, Abraham rose up the next morning and saddled his donkey and took two of his servants and his son Isaac and clave wood for the burnt offering and went unto the land that God had spoken unto him of. The third day, Mount Moriah appeared in the distance. And Abraham says the most astonishing thing to his servants. Abide ye here with the donkey, while I and the boy go yonder and worship, and will come again to you. Did you get that? I and the boy will go and worship, and I and the boy will come again to you. Abram believed that if he killed his son, God had to raise him from the dead, because God promised. Abram knew he was limited, but God's promises are not limited. And it wouldn't be the first time a miracle happened in Isaac's life. That boy came to Abraham when, by his own admission, he was good as dead. And there was no life at all left in his wife's womb. The details are painfully described. Abram loads the wood into the arms of his son, and himself carries the tools of destruction, the fire pot and the knife. And they start out at the mountainside. And did the boy notice that something heavy lay upon the heart of his father? As the silence between the two of them was strained and unnatural. Halfway up the hill, Isaac asks the one question that Abram couldn't answer. Father, here are the wood and the fire, but where is the lamb for the offering? I'd have dropped the whole thing on the spot. God must have given to Abraham the answer. My son, God will provide himself an offering, laying the whole matter where it's best laid in the Lord's lap. God will provide. And I couldn't have watched the last scene either. Abraham piles up the stones for an altar, arranges the wood, binds the hands of his son, lays him on the wood, and picks up the knife while the boy bears his throat. If God had slept for an instant, that boy would have been dead. But God and all the angels are ever near at the moment of death. And there came a voice to him, Abraham, Abraham, lay not thy hand upon the child, for now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. God knew that the hand that held the knife would not hesitate to use it. And now God has the only sacrifice he's ever looking for, an unfaltering faith and a trustful heart. And at that moment, Abram noticed a ram caught by its horns in a nearby thicket. He offered the ram as a sacrifice and named the place Jehovah Jireh, the Lord will provide. Now you could say that Abraham did not really offer up his son. But the text says that Abraham did. Abraham, when he was tried, offered up his only begotten son. God accepts the offering freely given from you as an accomplished fact, even though you may not carry through on it. You know what a lovely light that sheds upon our best intentions that have been thwarted? The larger areas of service that we have been denied. I know of a boy who wanted to become a missionary. And on the day that he was to leave home with his little bags packed, His dad came home half drunk and told him to forget it. The family needed him to help out at home, and the boy obeyed. Was that a failure? One day, when the crowns of life are distributed to all the magnificent missionaries, standing among them, there's going to be a manual laborer with calluses on his hand. So highly God honors your faith that the sacrifice you have offered wholeheartedly is considered an accomplished fact. This is not just the story of Abraham, son, and God. It's the story of your Father's love for you, who gave up his only begotten Son. And when the contradictions occur in your life, and questions rise up that you cannot answer, and doubts begin to darken your spirits, and when your lives are shattered and embittered, turned upside down by that strange will of God, you have this proof that he loves you with the love that will not let you go because he gave his only begotten Son. The Bible says, if God be for us, who can be against us? For he that spared not his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Amen.